Hello everybody, it's Jackson Fulcher, and I'm here once again to bring you a very anticipated video. Ever since I put out the best of the year video, you all have been eagerly awaiting for what my worst of the year is going to be. You've been waiting for that video for a while now. So with that being said, let's talk about the 2020 Super Bowl movie trailers that dropped during the big game. Before we get to the first trailer, we have an ad here for Disney trying to convince people that the MCU is still going to be interesting now that their big event movie is out of the way. So let's just skim through this real quick. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Alright, that's done. Let's move on to the first trailer. The SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. Now, they're going with a completely different animation style for this movie, whereas the other ones have been a little different. This one is going completely CGI animation, and it's a little jarring at first because all of the sponges here, because I assume this is the SpongeBob family, they don't really look like sponges. They look a little different, and it's kind of jarring at first, and I can't really pick out SpongeBob, and I can't really pick out any other of the characters that I love from that show, but I mean, it's SpongeBob, so I'm sure it's gonna be really clever and really funny. Top Gun Maverick is the latest suicide attempt from Tom Cruise, which obviously is a huge failure because the movie is coming out, but honestly, obviously this movie looks really cool, but I'm just really worried for Tom, you know? Like, he keeps doing these movies, doing his own flying, his own stunts. Like, is he gonna push it so far that he actually dies on the sets of one of these movies? Is he going to die during Mission Impossible 7, I guess is what I'm asking, and will they still find a way to complete it and put it out in theaters? How far is Tom Cruise willing to go to risk his life just for the sake of entertaining people? That has me the most concerned right now. Tom, I'm praying for you, buddy. Now, getting into this trailer right here, I'm really impressed with what they're doing with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, because it starts off with this interesting kind of sports drama. Like, you have all these people that are so inspired by Sonic, and it made me think, like, wow, this is going to be like a really interesting, like, sports biopic, but about a video game hedgehog that doesn't look like a real-life hedgehog. But then it turns into this blockbuster action movie trailer, so I'm a little confused as far as how they're going to balance not just these two drastic tones, but these two drastically different genres of movie making. But I'm sure this first-time director will be able to pull it off really well. I mean, he was able to make the decision to completely redesign the Sonic character to look like Sonic instead of whatever this abomination was. In fact, it was such an easy decision to make that it almost makes you think maybe this horrible design was part of the plan to get people buying into the marketing. They had this cool design already ready, but they wanted to get people talking, so they had this terrible one. It's a whole conspiracy theory. I don't want to get too much into it, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. The Invisible Man looks really cool, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of Leigh Whannell's work on Upgrade, but I'm just really concerned about how they're not spoiling the Dark Universe tie-ins with this commercial and the other trailer, you know, because at the end of the Morbius trailer, they already revealed that Michael Keaton was going to show up in it, but I want more spoilers in other trailers, you know, because that was really cool. Why isn't Tom Cruise at the end of this commercial? Or Luke Evans in Dracula Untold? Or Javier Bardem? Or Angelina Jolie in that Frankenstein's Bride movie? Or Johnny Depp. I thought he was supposed to be the Invisible Man. He looks a little different. He looks like that guy from The Haunting of Hill House, but you know, either way, I'm sure this will be really cool, but I'm just really worried about how this is all going to tie in to the Dark Universe franchise that totally is still happening and didn't get canned. No Time to Die is the final James Bond film starring Daniel Craig, but I gotta be honest, I'm a little concerned here. You know, it's taking place in this completely different time period now. Like, the James Bond movies with Daniel Craig take place in modern day, but this movie seems to be taking place in a completely different time period. I'm really confused about how they're going to make this work. It seems like it's more of a comedy than ever before, which is very concerning to say the least. I mean, it looks like it could be fun, but I couldn't spot Daniel Craig anywhere in this trailer. I'm wondering how they're going to really make this a satisfying end for Daniel Craig's famous portrayal as James Bond. You might remember a little Netflix movie that came out last year called The Silence. Well, they actually made a sequel to it, and it's actually coming to theaters. Only problem is they changed the title for really no reason. It's now called A Quiet Place Part 2, and it doesn't even have the same characters from the end of that first movie. It has like a whole new gang of people, and I'm obviously not against them expanding the universe, but I would just like to see those returning characters because they were all so interesting and complex, and the movie was just so good. Maybe that'll be part 3 of this series. They'll change it to The Silent Place. That'll be their title, and all of these characters are just going to come together for an epic survival horror film. Honestly, I'm more excited for that movie than this part 2. Suck it, A Quiet Place. Regarding this new Mulan film, there has been a recent controversy surrounding it, and of course, I'm talking about how Mushu is not going to be in the movie. Mushu, of course, is the very famous character that was portrayed by Eddie Murphy in the cartoon, but for this one they decided not to have the dragon. They made a whole statement about it in the news, and I began to think like, well, this is based off of an actual legend, so maybe getting rid of Mushu is their attempt at trying to make it just a little bit more grounded in reality and kind of trying to pay more respect to this actual legend in a realistic kind of way. So let's take a look at what they decided to do here. Oh, so they have sorcery in this. Oh, okay. They still have sorcery in the movie, so they're not trying to be too realistic. So why not the dragon? Why not the dragon? One of the most famous parts about the other movie? Was that too much of a stretch? Like, oh, we can have an evil sorcerer, but the dragon? Nah, we can't have that. That's too ridiculous. I mean, what am I saying? At least they're trying to do something a little bit different with their remake as opposed to just doing a beat-for-beat copy and paste, so, I mean, at least there's that. But, you know, I still have as much interest in this movie as any other Disney live-action remake, which is little to none. Black Widow. Now, finally, ever since this character was introduced in 2010's Iron Man 2, we have been waiting for a Black Widow movie, and finally we have a couple new looks at it. We have Florence Pugh here looking badass, Florence Pugh acting her ass off here, Florence Pugh there, Florence Pugh over there, Florence Pugh, Florence Pugh, Florence Pugh, Florence Pugh, Florence Pugh, Florence Pugh, Florence Pugh. I'm really excited for the movie. Since we haven't talked about an animated film for a while, let's get back into it with Minions: The Rise of Gru. Now this is another one similar to the SpongeBob trailer where they changed up the animation style. It's not the traditional CG animation. I mean, it is CG animation like the other ones, but it's not the same. And it looks a little jarring because this main character, which I'm so glad they're only focusing on at least one minion, but it doesn't really look like a minion. It almost kind of looks like a sponge, which is a little weird. And all these other characters, they look like they're ripped right out of SpongeBob, so I think Nickelodeon might want to lawyer up and sue their asses, but I mean, it doesn't look nearly as annoying as this. Alright, so we did get a commercial for F9, The Fast Saga, but a couple days before, we actually got a nearly 4-minute long trailer for this film that comes out in like 4 or 5 months. Now, here's the thing about me with Fast and the Furious. It's a ridiculously fun franchise. They do a lot of goofy stuff, but at this point, they've done so much goofy stuff that I don't know what they could possibly do unless they go to space, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they've reached their limit on Earth. There is nothing else that they can do on Earth that is crazier than going to space. So let's take a look at what exactly they do here.
There's no bridge!
Oh, hell
No. I know he didn't just drive off a cliff and attach his car to a fucking rope and swing around. My hat is off to them. It's not really a hat, but it's still off to them. Wow, screw space, I guess. Now, this last trailer we're going to talk about isn't a movie trailer. Sorry about that. It's actually a show that's coming to Amazon Prime that's produced by Jordan Peele. It's called Hunters. It's got a very famous actor attached. I'm very excited for it. It looks like it could be a lot of fun, and it could be really interesting to see. I'm just really pumped up for it, so let's give it a watch. Hold on, we got an ad first. Let's see what this ad is all about first, and then we'll get to the Hunters trailer.
America demanded change.
Donald Trump wins the presidency.
And change is what we got.
And ladies and gentlemen, the best is yet to come.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
All right, the ad is over. Let's watch this trailer.
You've been chosen because you're the best of the best. And I've been chosen because I'm Batman.
Lego Masters, a new competition series, premieres Wednesday, February 5th after The Masked Singer on Fox.
I gotta be honest. This is the best trailer I've seen all night.